And it also actually leads on nicely, I suppose, to our next story, which will be the older mandatory jabs for care homes, which we already know about, and the NHS one that they're planning. As you can see here, last year's heroes, this year's unemployed. We worked through the pandemic with no jab, now they want to fire us. Which, let's be honest, is the actual facts of it, as you can see here from the Unison chief. Something I've spoke about before, but now they've come out again to talk about it once more, because NHS workers in England are under threat, like we've said a couple of times.
Yeah, heroes to zeros, aren't they?
Well, the heroes were only temporary, weren't they? They only needed them at the end of the day to try and get the public in line. They didn't really care about hospital staff or anyone like that. They only care about themselves. They're politicians.
It's political football, isn't it?
Well, yeah, a lot of what they do is political because, of course, they have to make sure it's politically viable to do it. And after they've demanded the NHS do all this and people bow and clap, well, they didn't demand they bow. They demanded they go outside and clap and love the NHS and honour it like it's a god or something. Maybe they'll have a church built somewhere in central London, the Church of the NHS.
Yeah.
Because they've gone from, obviously, the carrot loving the NHS, who will give you a tiny little pay rise, not a big one, but give you a tiny little one just to try and keep you sweet, to, if you don't do what we say, we might well end up taking your job.
I think they should be happy. They've got murals.
Now, obviously, the NHS does have some mandatory medical treatments as it stands. But just pushing it in like this on people who have contracts and things like that is 100% not correct, in my opinion. And as Unison actually say, it's going to lead to a hell of a lot of people leaving.
Yeah.
Never mind whether it reaches that time. A lot of people have already left the care sector, as we know.
Well, there's 1.3 million frontline staff that this could affect.
Yeah, well, there's that's just in the NHS.
Yeah.
There's 500,000 care home staff, so it's technically in total 1.8 million people that these mandates will affect. And that's just
There is
broadly
news as well. There is news as well that the care side, the social care side of things, there are already 120,000 vacancies.
Yeah, they're very low. They are very low on staff from even before all of this. Even before 2020, they was extremely low on staff and always looking for people to join. One thing you would always see...
This is on top of that, due to the restrictions and stuff, apparently. They're saying that that's created what can only be described as a mass exodus from the sector.
Wow. Well, one thing you will always see in London, for
work hours might be an issue with that as well, but obviously that's what they're saying.
One thing I'd always seen in London was that there's plenty, and I do mean plenty of jobs for care workers going at this point, and always are.
Yeah.
I don't know how many it is exactly, but there seems to be plenty of jobs daily.
Well, apparently, isn't Unison the union that's looking into legal avenues? Because they represent, is it 570,000 staff?
Yeah, it says
Something
it here.
along those lines.
Where is it? It actually says it. Where is it? I did have it. It may be on the other article, which I'll pull up if I have to.
I mean, that's a massive number. It's possible that they could get this kiboshed before it gets ahead, but...
Yeah, there it is. Look, Unison have started taking legal advice about potential legal challenges over the issue, which could affect tens of thousands of people, McKenna added.
Yeah, well, Unison, they represent 570,000 frontline staff and social care staff.
Nah, Unison represent 1.3 million members.
Oh, they represent them all, do they?
No, that's between NHS and care homes. So there's 1.8 in total, I think.
Right.
And they do 1.3 of them. They're the largest. I do believe there are a couple of other ones floating around. But they are certainly the biggest by a long old stretch. And you got to remember, the NHS itself is the biggest employer in Europe.
Yeah, it is.
Like 1.3 million people work for the NHS. And the government, as it stands, say that 10 to 20% of the NHS staff are not double jabbed. I don't know how many of them have not had a single or anything like that, but the original estimates for care homes was 40,000 care home staff sacked or quitting because of the mandatory rules that are coming in.
Yeah.
Unison themselves put it 70,000, as I covered a couple of weeks ago now. So that's at least 70,000, say, or up to 70,000, say, gone from the care sector, plus 10 to 20% of the NHS staff, You're talking about over 250,000 people possibly losing their jobs or being sacked, or as the government's actually saying, they might move them to a different area. I don't know how you're going to move 250,000 people to a different job in the NHS or care homes that are not facing public, but this is the shit they're claiming.
That sounds very segregated, doesn't it?
Well, it's not that. How are you going to replace 250,000?
Well, I'm thinking unjabbed hospital.
No, I can't see them doing that. I can't see them doing that at all. They'd rather refuse the unjabbed treatment, I think, than do something like that. I think you'd be more likely to see that. I don't think either are likely at this point. But
no, I don't.
Yeah, I can't see them going to that. That would be quite thingy. I mean, they would have kept the Nightingale hospitals that they spent how many millions on? If that was their plan or something like that. They're all gone now, are they not?
They're all gone now.
I was going to say, I thought they would be all gone. They was a giant waste of money, wasn't they? I think only a couple of them actually got used.
And that was only like 1% of capacity or something, even less than that, I think.
Yeah, it was.
It was a total waste.
But my question is, as should be everyone's question, what is the government going to do if 250,000 staff quit or are sacked in the NHS?
I have no idea. No idea whatsoever, to be honest, on that one. That's why I'm hoping that Unison kick this one to the curb straight away.
I mean, obviously, I hope that's a 100% a given. But I don't see why they're doing it. It doesn't make any sense to me. This sort of thing, as Unison actually say, they actually say it in this article. She actually says it. Using the stick doesn't work. It's counterproductive. No. Look, heavy-handed and counterproductive approach. It could be perilous for the health sector. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Well, just for perspective, 28% of care home staff, that's 1 in 5 staff members, have already handed in their resignations.
Yeah, I know. Some places said they had seen something like 20% from one care home saying they will quit rather than do this. And the care home are now obviously shitting themselves, as you would expect.
Rightly so, yeah.
Yeah, they ain't going to be able to remain open.
Nope.
And if thousands and thousands or tens of thousands or even a couple of 100,000 hospital and care staff quit, that'll be the biggest political shitstorm any government's ever dealt with. Let me tell you this. I have to say it now. Yeah. It really would be.
Look how desperate they got over the truckers.
Yeah, they're still in a pretty desperate situation over that as we speak, aren't they? They're getting a few of them in now, but it's still not the amount they need.
Some places are paying double rate to get them in.
Yeah, it's not.